What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got some more Digimon rulings. They have been hitting it lately, giving us all of these rulings for new Digimon cards, and I like to share them all with you. Now, some of these are fairly similar to ones we've looked at recently, some of them aren't. So what we're going to do is go through all of them nice and quickly, so that if you haven't seen them in previous videos, you still get them, but if you have seen them, we shan't dwell on them too long. So, TAIGA. TAIGA's that new Tamer card that says when you evolve into a Digimon with Tyrannomon in its name, you reduce the cost by 1. What happens if you evolve into one of those Digimon, let's say RUSTTYRANNOMON, in the raising area? That's a level 6, that's very unlikely, isn't it? Let's say Tyrannomon in the raising area. No, it doesn't work. Again, it's a standing rule in the Digimon TCG. Digimon in the raising area have no abilities and cannot be affected by any abilities. There we go. Pierce versus Companion, what happens? So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got a Granku-Wagamon. That's one of the lovely cards with piercing. At least I hope it does. It'd be embarrassing if I remember that wrong. If I did, there's a different one on the screen. But let's say you've got a Digimon with Companion, let's say Devomon, or Vengeance, same thing. Piercing says that when you destroy a Digimon in battle, you get to perform a security check, but Vengeance or Companion says that when the Digimon gets destroyed or deleted, you also delete the attacker. What happens? You resolve the attack and then do the security check. And while you resolve the attack, Companion will destroy the attacker, so the attacker is not there to perform a security check. Sorry. Dukemon's got this is a level 6 red one from Ultimate Power. Dukemon's got that rather nice skill whereby for every 10 cards in your opponent's trash, you get to discard one of your opponent's security cards while attacking. What if you discard an option card or a Tamer card with a security skill? Do you get to activate that security skill when the card gets discarded? No. You're not performing a security check, you are discarding the card. And you only get the security skills when it is revealed when performing a security check, not when it gets discarded using Dukemon's skill. Now, we've seen that the ARGOMON line has all of these absorb evolution abilities, sometimes referred to as download. That is to say that you can rest one of your... So if we have a look at the level 5, for instance, you can rest one of your Digimon to reduce the evolution cost by 3, which for the level 5 would make it free. Can you do that if you rest a Digimon in your raising area? Can I rest a Digimon in the raising area to reduce the evolution cost of a Digimon in the battle area? No on both counts. Remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Digimon in the raising area have no abilities and cannot be affected by abilities. Now, one of the new keyword skills we got in this set was Reboot. So we see this on cards like Wargreymon. And Wargreymon's got the combo of Blocker and Reboot, which is awesome. Reboot says that you become active on your opponent's active phase. So, of course, the relevance of that, Wargreymon gets to become active on their turn and block, even if you attacked and rested the previous turn. Well, what happens with Puppetmon? Because you see, Puppetmon's got a very nice skill that lets you rest one of your opponent's Digimon, but during your opponent's next active phase, all your opponent's Digimon cannot be made active. What about Digimon with Reboot? Yeah, they can totally be made active. Puppetmon stops Digimon becoming active on your active phase, not on your opponent's active phase. There we go. Now, Diaboromon's got that ridiculous skill that when you attack, you get to summon a Diaboromon token, 3000 power, and when it would be destroyed, you have the option of destroying one of those tokens rather than destroying Diaboromon itself. Okay. So, if tokens are treated the same as Digimon, when Diaboromon's effect destroys a token, do you get to pierce? No. Now, the theory why it would work is that you are destroying a Digimon, therefore you've destroyed a Digimon in battle, you get to pierce, i.e. perform a security check. But the difference here is that Diaboromon's effect cancels its destruction, so anything, Pierce or otherwise, that relies on your opponent's Digimon being destroyed in battle are not activated. Yes, you are destroying a token, but more importantly, the destruction of the Digimon is being cancelled. This is a very important ruling that hasn't come up before, at least not as far as I've seen, and one you really need to be aware of. A Diaboromon token destroyed instead of Diaboromon will not activate when destroyed effects like Pierce. Now, Millenniummon's got a very nice skill. That is to say that when Millenniummon is destroyed, if it had any evolution sources, you may play it from the trash without paying its cost. Can you play the Millenniummon itself that was being destroyed? Not only can you have to. Millenniummon does not let you bring a card or even a Millenniummon back from the trash. It lets you bring this Millenniummon back from the trash. So going back to Diaboromon then, those tokens that are destroyed, do they go to the trash? Because that's a weird but fun example. Let's take the promo Veedramon Zero. This says, or at least a Digimon evolved from it, can return 3 non-Digi-Egg cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck and draw a card. Can you therefore use this to put the Diaboromon tokens from your trash back into your deck? Nah, they get removed from the game. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it would be fun, but no. Sorry. So, RUSTTYRANNOMON then. One of the really big bad green Digimon from the set. It's got a lovely skill whereby on your turn, if your opponent's Digimon is deleted in a battle with this Digimon, you get to rest one of your opponent's Digimon. Okay. Well, when I'm using RUSTTYRANNOMON, it puts one of my opponent's Digimon to rest when only my opponent's Digimon is destroyed in battle. Can I still activate Pierce? Yeah. Just remember that Pierce does not activate when you destroy security Digimon. But destroying a Digimon, putting one to rest, and then performing a security check could be fun. Might want to try and give it Pierce. So, Tailmon then gives it an extra 3,000 power when other Digimon are destroyed. It's a very nice one. The question becomes, does it keep it? And then just keep rolling? If you evolve it, do you still get the extra 3,000? And the answer is, it keeps it till end of turn. If you evolve, it still keeps it. You can evolve as much as you like and it will still keep the plus 3,000 until the end of the turn. You essentially activate the plus 3,000 on that Digimon and then you get it until the end of turn. So when a Digimon that has had its stats changed evolve, do they persist? So let's take that card, for instance, the option card that reduces the base DP to 3,000. If you'd evolve, does that carry on? Yep. Sorry. Does Black Taichi's effect also boost my Securities Digimon's power? So Black Taichi is one of the Tamer cards that came around in New Evolution. And what it basically does is it gives all of your black Digimon an extra 1,000 power. So does that include security? Nope. Unfortunately, security Digimon are not counted the same as Digimon. They are very much in their own category, so things that affect your Digimon don't affect your security Digimon. We could look at the yellow Tamer from the starter deck, which specifically refers to security Digimon, and essentially that's what we're looking for here. Either it specifically refers to security Digimon, or it does not work. So, VENOMMIYOTUSMON then. One of the big exciting cards that came around in this set has security attack +1, and on your opponent's turn, if your opponent's Digimon is rested, you gain 1 memory. Okay. If the same Digimon was put to rest, then active, then rest again repeatedly, and we've seen plenty of examples of Digimon that can make themselves active multiple times in a turn, do you just keep getting the +1 memory? Yes. Every time one of your opponent's Digimon is put to rest, you get +1 memory. even if it is a Digimon that's already been put to rest and made active this turn. Essentially, the trigger is a Digimon on your opponent's side gets put to rest during their turn. Whenever that happens, boom, +1 memory. VENOMMIYOTUSMON then, another one of these level 6s. They do tend to give us more rulings than other types. When it's destroyed, you place this card down as the top card of your security. Does it activate when it's devolved? If your opponent uses Devolution on something like a MEALSEADRAMON, for instance, will that activate this skill? No. When it is deleted, you get to put it down as a security card. When it is devolved, you don't. Incidentally, this does work as a great example as to why somebody would want to devolve rather than just go ahead and delete straight away. It makes perfect sense. When I play a MEALSEADRAMON, now for those of you that may have forgotten, MEALSEADRAMON, shockingly another level 6 from the set. When you play, you return up to 2 of your opponent's level 4 or less Digimon to their hand, and discard any evolution sources, and this Digimon cannot be blocked by your opponent's Digimon with no evolution sources. So when I play MEALSEADRAMON and the memory goes to 1 or more on my opponent's side, and the effect of returning Digimon back to the hand causes the target's Digimon evolution sources to be discarded, can I put Kid Joe to rest to use its skill? Now, as a reminder of Kid Joe, probably fair that we do, if you discard the evolution source of an opponent's Digimon, you can rest this card, and you can gain 1 memory. It's all irrelevant. You see, when we're talking about things like Kid Joe, we are referring to discarding evolution sources. And there seems to be a hard and fast rule appearing here that when you return a Digimon to the hand, you don't get to discard the cards. Now, the evolution sources get discarded, but that really is just a statement of what happens to them. You are not and this is an awkward thing to try and explain. You are not discarding their evolution sources, you are returning a Digimon to their hand. Now the evolution sources get discarded, but you're not discarding them, you are just returning a card to their hand. I hope that makes sense. However, if you have a skill that activates on your opponent's turn to remove an evolution source, you can still use Joe Kiddo to give yourself the memory. How cool! Now here's a really interesting question. It will only really affect us if we get official tournaments, but it is something that has been officially addressed and this surprises me. Rarity R cards foiling can be seen through the card back. Will tournaments disallow transparent sleeves, or is it up to the organizer? The answer is this cannot be decided by the game rules. Please confirm the tournament regulations or check with the tournament organizer or sponsor. So essentially there is a concern that some players are going to be able to essentially know which cards, or at least down to a few, are on top of their deck because they can see the foiling through the back of the card. That is not in the game rules, it's up to the tournament organizer. My experience of things like this in other card games is tournament organizers will make people aware in advance and basically tell them not to use clear sleeves. It's an interesting one, ladies and gentlemen. It's an interesting one. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. More Digimon rulings, and I know we've had a bunch lately, but the rule is... well, the rule is quite simple. We need to try and make sure we are on with all of these rules. These rules are very important. If you want to play the game, you need to know the rules. So those are the rules, ladies and gentlemen, but now it's over to you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, to tell me what you think about them and any questions you might have. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.